Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 38-year-old from Malay, Alberta, Canada. A fourth
Millet.
round draft pick. Shut up. Fourth round draft pick of the Vancouver Canucks. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, and he's found a home and is a legend of Deutschland. He came in 2006 and they could never get him to leave. A staple with the Leduc Oil Barons and Kings before running amok with the St. Albert Saints, where he had 82 points and 226 penalty minutes and 32 playoff points for fun. He mucked around the Western Hockey League and then the coast before spreading his wings and falling in love in Germany. A legend with one of the Shed's favorites, the Landshut Cannibals, laced up for Red Bull Munich, but he is the mayor of Peiting, where he spielt for 8 Jahr mit 474 Punkt in 326 Eishockey Spiels. That is 474 points in 326 games played, folks, for Peiting over 8 years. And he is a below average cribbage player. Welcome to the Shed, Ty Morris.
Thanks for having me. That's quite the intro. Your German is definitely as good as where you left it.
Are you saying it's bad?
It's great. Sorry. Great.
Right. So, can du sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch?
Ein bisschen, yeah. Just a new ambition.
I guess you've been there since 2006. You better by now, eh?
Yeah, I better be fluent, because if not, then probably wouldn't have a house to live in.
Right. Be tough to find work. I get into how we know each other. Guess it'd really be 2011-12, the Bietigheim Steelers, right?
Correct.
You got a shoulder injury and I got a hernia, and we were both out for the second half.
Still ended up winning what is it? The Pokal. Still won a Pokal championship that year. I couldn't come because I was sick, literally sick, not injured, sick. Perfect timing. But after hearing and seeing all the pictures in the party, it was probably better I wasn't there.
That's the night they gave us the giant shoe to drink out of, the boot.
Das Boot.
So a lot of beer you could fit in that sucker.
There was a couple in there. The next week when I got back, we tried filling her up, and yeah, that wasn't happening.
So yeah, that's how we know each other, folks. But right before that, one of my old honey holes, you played in Landshut for I guess I was there 07-08, and then you came the next year from 08 to 11. Then we played in Bietigheim together. So you're in my old honey hole with some of my favorites.
Yeah, but I think that's why we turned out to be such good friends, because of all the stories that they were telling me about you. And then I said, hey, I got to play at least 1 year with this clown.
I don't think there are any stories. That was my first year. I was nervous around the boys back then.
Oh, that's true.
I know, but Abshi, Geipe, Hammer, Whitman, Lot, Schmatzy, they're all still around Landshut. What a place.
It's definitely a glorious place, especially in the summer.
I've never been there in the summer. I couldn't imagine hanging out with all those guys in the off season. Yeah.
Couple pints downtown is this.
I'm not sure what stories you would have heard of me. I was very well behaved that year.
Definitely well behaved. Listen to your coaches. We're definitely on the bike.
They didn't even speak English. How the hell am I supposed to listen to them? They wouldn't speak English. So what am I supposed to do? I remember Chris St. Croix sat beside me and I'd be like, what did he say? And he's like, just go out and play, man.
just go out and do your thing. That's what you did.
Just do your thing. And one of my favorite parts about the Landshut Cannibals, which I believe it is now defunct, was the nook under the stairs, right?
Are we allowed to talk about that?
We're gonna have to, because it's one of the coolest places in ice hockey, folks. So some of my best buddies were still on Landshut, and I went to Bietigheim. I chased the money, you could say, but then I'd go play Landshut, and after the games, all those fellas would be under the stairs, like where they used to store the like old sticks and extra sticks and like equipment shit, right? They made like a full kitchen. They had fridges. They had a little stove. They would fry up sausages. We'd have pints. And like, as soon as that buzzer went for the game to end, was by far and away the fastest I'd get undressed, and I would be hustling to get under the stairs.
I know definitely that every away team, that was the fastest undressed as a rink that you had, and you knew it. It was in the pregame. It was in the pregame speech with the boys. Hey, let's get in.
We'll
get this game out with.
We'll see after.
Yeah, as quickly as possible. You had to at least get 3 in before you got on the bus.
It wasn't invite only though, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely, you just couldn't walk in. That's for sure.
No, I remember like walking in, because Germany is strange, right? Like, after games, players will go into other teams' rooms, right? That shit ain't normal.
No. But to tell you the truth, I'm just thankful that I was always on the good side of that. I mean, any other dressing room that I ever went into, it was always like, all right, get in here, and they put me in in a very nice little corner. So like, when the coaches or managers walked in, they couldn't really see you. But yeah, definitely weird, especially when you won and you're going into the losing dressing room.
Right. And like, to see your buddies and like say hello, and it's like, get out of our room. I still don't understand it. That still happen over there?
Oh yeah, it still happens. Yeah.
That's just weird still. Okay, so that's how we know each other, folks. And you were episode 27 on Freestyle Friday with Abshi.
Freestyle Friday. Yeah, that wasn't my best hour, but it was definitely.
You know what?
Fun.
I had no notes. I was not prepared. I wasn't a pro yet. I feel like a pro now.
You are a pro now. I think this is now considered pro.
Once you get over 200 episodes, folks, it's not about the money. And the other way we know each other was, I went to your house and stayed the night for Oktoberfest. Lisa and I did, with PJ Fenton and his wife Steph, right?
Exactly.
Wild night. Yeah. Oktoberfest is really fun, isn't it?
It's definitely
Is it still fun when you've been there since 2006?
No. I have to be truthful with you. No. I'm gonna say
it's not what it used to be, eh? For you? You're so old.
Definitely
Look at
not.
your beard.
I mean,
your beard
you
is
still
gray. Sip it. I don't. Whatever.
Well, we'll put it this way. It's still the Mondays. You still have your Mondays, Oktoberfest day, where all the hockey teams somehow meet up without speaking with each other, and you show up and there's like 35 different teams there.
And you all just get after it.
Exactly.
Yes, I believe I've been a part of that.
Yeah. Couple times, but the biggest part about it, which is always so stressful, is the train ride home. It's the train ride home. I mean, because you put in a shift, and then and realistically, you just need a bed. And
yeah, like you gotta get horizontal quickly. Yeah,
exactly.
Get some food in you, lay down. It's over once you get out of those tents. You got to get where you're going quick.
The year that we went that year. Yeah. I forget which wife it was, but they pulled me on one of the carousels or whatever. I think it was called
like a roller coaster.
I think this one was like called the Zipper, where the thing was just turning all over the place.
That'll make you puke.
And of course, I didn't want to look like a baby, so I was like, yeah, all the time, yeah, dude. I was swallowing puke. Try not to.
That is so disgusting. I could just see puke splattering out of those cages.
That was hard. But yeah,
that actually happened around here to me. There's a Ripley Fall Fair where the kids go to school. And it's just a little fall fair. And I had some drinks in the neighborhood with a few fellas the night before. And when this was years ago, I'm way grown up now. I'm like you with gray beard. But Colby was very little. Colby was like, geez, it was right when we first moved here. He's 3 or 4. And he makes me go on one of those things where like there's no seatbelt, there's no nothing. You just stand against the wall and it just fucking spins. And dude, and all these kids are like on the wall and we're spinning around. And I thought I was gonna puke. And I'm like, if I puke in here, there's gonna be puke all over the room.
It's just a laser. It just turns into a laser.
It would be nuts.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not a place you want to do it, but I was able to battle it off.
But no, speaking of when you walk out of those tents and you've put in a shift, I guess it's the year after the time with you. The Hellbronner Falcons did it right. We got a team bus there, right? Everybody put in their money for the bus. 50 euros each, I believe it was, for everyone that wanted to go. Get a bus all the way there. We're there by noon. Heavy shift. Heavy. But then, when all the reservations at 5 o'clock or whatever time it is, all the tables are done. You can't sit there anymore. All the important people come in. You're just kicked to the curb, right? And everybody got, like, you could call it disoriented and couldn't find each other. One of them was me. And I just thought I needed to go for a walk, right? Clear the cobwebs.
Fresh air.
Right. I walked my way right out of Oktoberfest and I just kept marching. Next thing I knew, I didn't know where I was in Munich, and kind of snapped out of it a bit. And then I realized I didn't really know how or when to go back or what time it was. So I just got on a train and headed out of there. Yeah.
You didn't even get to the bus.
No, they called me a couple hours later. They're like, dude, you're not at the bus. I'm like, guys, I'm halfway home.
Well, at least you were in good enough shape to get on the train and find that place. I mean,
that's where things get even worse. Met a Finnish and Swedish fella at the bar on the train, and we had a couple. And then forgot I played for Hellbrod then and got off the train in Bietigheim. And I walked out and I'm by that train station bar in Bietigheim. And I'm like, I'm walking into town like, shit, I don't live here anymore.
better go get a youth cup.
And then I tried to turn around and get the train back for the next train from Bietigheim to Hellbrod. They were done for the night. No more trains. So I had to pay for a cab then from Bietigheim to Hellbrod. Overall, in transportation fees that day to get to Oktoberfest, it was like 230 euros for me.
Well spent.
Yeah, it's a good time though. The 4 or 5 hours I spent there.
I definitely recommend it for everybody else.
Yeah. But that's where, and I went to your house. Are you living in the same town, same area?
No, we moved. It's only about 10 minutes away, but we moved out of that place. That was just we were just renting it. We were just renting it that time. Then we bought a house about 10 minutes away in Verena's hometown. So nice. That's where we are now.
Verena. I haven't seen her in a very long time. So I guess you bought, and you'd also need a few more rooms, because I get into where and what are you doing now, and you are, as the media would put it, a thoroughbred girl dad.
A Buchsenmacher, yeah. 4 girls. Yeah, it's definitely wasn't so planned that way, but that's how it came out, and can't be happier about it. But yeah, no, it's
4 of them, eh?
Yeah, they all play hockey outside of Lulu's, only 1.5. But they're all in the rink, so it's cool. It's definitely got a lot of travel on our hands as well.
Well, I guess I'll get into your poster picks quick, because that's one of them was the lineup on the beach where you went from shortest gal to tallest gal, and then there you were.
Well, yeah, I had to stand in the back because make sure
you look very masculine back there.
Well, since I retired, there a couple pounds have been put on, so I needed to hide.
That does happen. Okay, poster picks. There's one of you in the beer tents with the fellas. Is that Oktoberfest?
No, that's a little festival. It happened about a month and a half ago in Cuffborn. So where
are those not the best ones? The town ones, like Bietigheim's Feder Market. You can run amok in those places.
Amok has been run on that place a couple times, but yes, I agree.
You just got to go to the towns that don't know you, players. If you're living in Germany and you're playing in the second league, don't go to your local town one, because they know who you are.
And they sewer you.
Seriously, learn from my mistakes. They asked me to kindly leave for having fun at their horse market.
No, but definitely you're right. The smaller ones are definitely better. You don't have any pressure on, you just
the lineups aren't as big.
Just got to enjoy a couple pints. It's great. And yeah, I find the food almost better and not expensive. So it's a win-win situation. Find a small one.
What's your favorite song in the beer tents? Mine's Joanna Dugaili Sal.
Wow. You put me on the spot here. I'm going to have to agree with you on that, because by that time that song comes, the emotions are high.
And that's when the mask can smash, because you just start feeling it deep in you,
Correct. Yeah, I'll agree with you on the Joanna Dugalesau.
Joanna. Anyways,
yeah,
that means you hot pig, folks, in case you're wondering, right?
Just in case. Yeah.
Just yep. Okay, I'm on the wrong. No, I'm not. Poster pics. You just sent them to me. That's why they're on the wrong page. Okay, there's one. You're with goalie on one knee with your daughter. Who's that guy?
That's Joker, Joachim Reimer from Munich. Yeah,
I remember him.
Yeah, when I played in Munich, they didn't actually give me an apartment. I mean, times have changed. Let's put it this way: times have definitely changed. If you go to Munich nowadays, you are getting like a villa
apartment.
You're in a penthouse downtown Munich. But when I went there, they asked me if I could just stay with the goalie, and the goalie was like, "Yeah, no problem." We hit it off. We like to say music and like to have a couple beers, so it worked out perfect. So
was he a single guy?
At that time, he was single. Now he's married.
So you just had a roommate. That shit's happening all over Europe. But
yeah. Well, the best part about it was a roommate type of situation, but I was on the couch.
Right.
I didn't have a room.
Pro hockey player, the DL, I'm living on the couch. Yeah. That shit does happen.
The couch was very comfortable.
Next poster pick. You're in a shootout. Barnes packed. Is that against Kevin Nastiuk?
You betcha. I seen
my
that
old
picture.
Goalie at Hellbrun.
Yeah, I seen Nasty in that picture. I'm like, well, I got to throw a couple things out there for the boys.
Did you score on him?
I definitely did not score on him.
And you put it on your poster. Why did you want to remember that shit?
Because it's
just because you know him.
Backstory about it was we won the game. That's the most important.
Then you feel better about missing. Way to go.
Well, I mean, it's not like he really made the save. I tried to do the old, I'm going to go over here and then go low blocker really quick. And I tipped it off his stick off the post and in the corner. So it counts as a shot. Your
standard lefty move. Watch me stick handle over here on the right side of the net and then quickly go to my forehand and shoot low blocker.
Usually they
nobody's ever seen that move before, lefties. Grow up.
Yeah, no, backstory on that is that that picture was taken from my father-in-law. They came to the game. He's got a house in Dresden. They came to the game and we went out after the game and everything. So it just, definitely don't want to remember the penalty shots that you missed. But that
was a packed barn, and Dresden was a sweet barn to play in when she was packed, eh?
Oh yeah, it was loud and good dressing rooms. Great atmosphere.
Okay, next one. You're at a face-off. Ein Bully Spiel. And I believe you're beside Cody Thornton.
Exactly. That's just another one. That was my first year back in Peiting after Landshut. That's when the disaster happened in Landshut when they were in the second league. And then, in a blink of an eye, they went down to the Oberleague. So, they had their whole entire team. Patrick Jarrett, Apshe, Geipel was there. They had their whole entire second league team playing in the Oberleague, and we spanked them every single time. Didn't lose a game to them.
Really?
So, I had that picture with Cody, and Cody and I still stay in contact, really good friend of mine. So
you just listed off some really good players to be beating them in the Oberliga.
I don't want to pump my own tires, but I'm pretty sure that in the 6 games I've had 24 points. I don't know. Did I?
Yeah, who's counting though? Who's counting? But I met Cody. It is interesting when you play in Germany, because when you leave a team, you can still stay over the night the next season and have beers with your buddies, right? Pretty sure I stayed the night in Landshut and went out to that restaurant there,
couple restaurants, but that one,
the one Beckham used to go to, sit on the table.
Oh yeah, what was it? Was it Francesco's?
Don't ask me the hard questions, dude.
Okay, sorry.
Moving on. That last poster pick, you're in a tracksuit, and that gets me into wearing. What are you doing now? When I reached out about the shed months ago, you said, I just got to build my team and then I got lots of time. What are you now?
Well, because I retired. Now I'm the GM of Peiting and the assistant coach. So that's me directing the defenseman how to.
The GM's the assistant coach?
Well, I think everybody knows that.
So why don't you just? I got a question. Why don't you just play? Your last season, you had over a point a game.
This is very true, and I actually am still asking myself that same question. But
here we go, Mario Lemieux comeback.
No, that's definitely not going to happen. I to tell you the truth, I think this was just a good way out. I think that I didn't know myself. Like, okay,
were you
is my
already
body
the
gonna let out?
GM? How'd you get the GM
No.
job?
The GM last year pulled me in around Christmas time and asked me if I was interested in doing it. So I was kind of like, well, I'm playing.
So is it so like this is just me asking because I don't know. Would the guy before you that is obviously has left and handed off to you, was that his job or did he have a day job?
No, he had a day job as well.
Doing it for the love.
Doing it for the love. And when he told me what he was making, I pretty much spat my coffee out and was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm playing.
Right.
So,
Players.
But,
yeah,
we figured it out. It turned out to be a good gig. And that's the reason why the assistant coach is also on the table, because they have to make some type of excuse to pay me.
Right.
So,
and it's fun to be paid.
Definitely. Yeah. No, but it's definitely a hassle.
Hold on. Zip it before I forget again. Okay.
Sorry.
Jersey right behind me, folks, I am raffling off for a Sheffield Steelers fan, Rich Bateman, who had a massive stroke and his son reached out to me, who's a beauty. Episode 199.5, James Bateman. And I'm raffling off this jersey to help with his recovery from his stroke, to help get him a better life, and for his wife and kid, James. So you can buy raffle tickets at aleshockeytales.com. They're £2 a ticket, and there's like 5 days left as of right now. So please buy a couple tickets. I really would be thrilled if we just sold at least 4 more, because then we'd have sold 300 raffle tickets, folks. Way to go, Shed family. Keep up the good work. Right?
That's perfect.
I thought it's pretty cool. We've sold almost 300 tickets.
I got a quick question for you. I mean, you've been asking all the questions right now. I mean, this is definitely for the love of the podcast right here, right?
I get up at 5:30 to talk hockey with you. Yeah. For free.
I find it great.
Health. I would call it healthy issues. Some people may not call them healthy issues, but I don't know. It makes my day better. I like doing it, and I get to see my friends that I haven't seen in a long time. So
it's great. It's great. Love it.
I wouldn't get up for many things at 5:30 in the morning. I get up for you though.
And Oktoberfest.
I would get up at 5:30 for Oktoberfest. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, no, I just love it. I love it as much as the first time. And a boy could dream that someday I'll make money doing this, but don't know how. So just keep going. But we're having a raffle, folks, for Rich Bateman at aleshockeytales.com. And I think it's really cool, whether I make money or not, that I can help them out by talking to my friends in my shed. So I'll get up for you guys. No worries. Right?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So assistant coach, why'd you say something about Kaufbeuren? Is Peiting by Kaufbeuren?
Yeah. It's only about 25 minutes away, half an hour.
The Jokers.
Yeah. The Jokers.
Is Kaufbeuren still a thing? Are they still in the league?
Yeah, they're mixing it up. They're mixing it up in the second league.
Did they get a new barn?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
That's
they pretty much
sad.
took. They pretty much took Bietingheim's rink and just cut it off into half and just made it as like the one bowl, and it's nice.
Okay. Well, the old one, tough to play in. It was almost like going into like, I don't know, like a dungeon, and like
a war zone.
Right. It was very strange bar, dark too.
Any time you see a movie where like somebody opens a door to a dungeon and a rat goes running across, that was the bar,
the Jokers. Yeah. Okay. What else do I got for your last season, 41 and 39? So you got the offer to do the GMing, and then that's how you decided to hang them up then.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody had to do it. And the way that Peiting's always worked, they try to keep it internal. So, yeah. But I mean, now that it's all said and done, we're doing the training camp. We got a game tonight, exhibition game. I'm happy with the decision.
That's good.
And the other part about it was the whole entire summer, I did not get my heart rate over 120 once, and I felt great about it.
You know what? My heart rate doesn't get that high. I always like to say, don't get too high, don't get too low. That's what I do with the heart rate nowadays.
I think the heart rate got up to 119 with a birdie putt the one time in the summer, but that only happened one time.
But yeah, it's not good though, because then if you really don't do anything for very long, and then say a guy asks you to go play a hockey game in the summer, the heart don't work like it used to. It's really pumping. Jeepers. Okay. So last time you ever went back to Canada?
Wow.
Because one of my questions is, when you got on that plane in 2006, you probably never thought you were going there to stay. And when you talk around in your shed and you hear about all these hockey players and where they end up and where they went, nobody ever thinks about the parents. You know, like when my kids are growing up and you're like, geez, you're already almost 10 and you get to 15, 16 and then they're just gone. You've been gone since 2006. How do you think your parents feel about that?
Relieved? No, I'm just kidding. I don't really know. They come over. They were just over here a couple months ago. But with the 4 kids, it's definitely difficult to get back home. I think the last time I was in Canada was 8 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So they come, are they able to come see you? Because it ain't cheap. Yeah.
Well, no, for those two, when you're traveling just to I almost spoke in German there. When you're traveling with only 2 people, it's definitely easier to get around. But as soon as you start throwing the 6 and 7s around there, then it's definitely.
Well, you do know what made all those children, right?
I'm very got to be cautious with the next thing I say. No, Waldo, what, how?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like the next door neighbors here, we got 5 now. And I'm like, you guys realize what's making all this, right? Like maybe cover it up, maybe do something different. I don't know. You know, just thinking out loud. But anywho, that, you know, yeah, it's interesting when you talk to Canadians that end up in Germany, right? And kids are speaking German. Like it is a different life than living in Canada, isn't it?
It's very different, but at the end of the day, I mean, with everything that's going on there right now, I mean, don't really have all the updates, but I'm almost relieved that I'm over here. See, here it's easy. Like,
yeah,
you know, I don't really have to, you know, think about it too much. You can just go do whatever you want. I'm right beside the mountains. It's beautiful. But yeah, I mean,
are you into skiing?
Well, I was into skiing before I came over to Germany, because the first year I played in Peiting, we would take a couple of trips down to the mountains, and then my GM came in and was like, "Where were you yesterday?" And I'm like, "What? You know, skiing." And then the next paycheck I got, there was $500 missing, and I was like, "Why am I missing $500? Yeah, you went skiing. It's a breach of contract. We could have kicked you out, but we only took 500 away from it." Like, are you serious? Like, without even saying
that must
anything?
have been in the fine print.
And that's what I was gonna say. So then I was like, well, where is this in the contract? And of course, you know, in your first year, it's gibberish.
Right.
You have no idea what's in there, and you just sign it because you're just happy to play, and then then you read the fine print, and it definitely says in there that you're able to take a team strafe if you get
team
caught
penalty,
skiing.
folks. Let's see, my German's still good. I don't know why you're chirping me. Unreal. Do you remember when I taught you some of my bad German, and then you called your do you remember it? That story? I remember that story. Hammer told me how to do some trash talking, and I was telling you about what a kleine Nute was. And then you called your wife that. Remember that? She was not thrilled.
She was definitely not thrilled.
And you didn't even know what you were saying, I don't think. I think you were calling her like your Shotzi.
Yeah, I was Shotzi.
That's your honey, folks. It's
the things you learn. The things you learn over
here. Okay. Growing up in Millet, Alberta.
Millet. Yeah.
Did you have some French in your background though?
Zero.
Really?
Zero. My parents. I'm
making that part up of how when I saw the name of the town and it's Millet, and I'm like, maybe that's Malay, and there was some French.
That's a very different way of making the sound town cool. Of I don't know how many people live there, maybe 1,000.
Millet, 1,000 people in Millet.
Yeah, something like that. I have.
So what'd your parents do?
Well, first of all, just to let you know, I was only in Millet for like maybe a year, maybe 2. I think this was the first year.
You got to tell the research. You got to tell the research team this shit because it says I'm from Georgetown. I ain't from Georgetown.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first year Elite Prospects came out, and they just put Millet in. First of all, Millet doesn't have a hospital, doesn't have a police station.
Can't come out without a hospital. I guess
you got one bar and one gas station. That's it. You know, the bar's your local restaurant. So at 9 o'clock, you tuck the kids in and go to the restaurant.
We got a lot of places like that around here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not the big guy who's going to call Elite Prospects and tell them to change that. I kind of find it funny.
Right.
So whatever, I go with it. So
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Edmonton until I was 13 years old. And then we moved out to Wetaskiwin. And then from Wetaskiwin, Wetaskiwin. Cars cost less than Wetaskiwin. That's
Wetaskiwin.
Yeah.
Once again, where's that?
It's about 40 minutes south of Edmonton.
Oh, so you're still right there.
Yeah, it's nothing big. And then after that, I mean, I stayed there for maybe 2 years, and then you know how it is as a junior player.
And then you go to play hockey, and then you're gone.
Exactly. So I didn't really get too much out of it. I got a lot of friends back there, but other than that, I mean, yeah.
You wouldn't have as much draw or pull to like come back home when you moved around a bit, and then you're gone at 15, right? Like it's yeah.
There's nothing really sucking me back in to get me back there. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You always look better in later hosen too. So you played AAA in Leduc. How'd you get into hockey? Everybody played hockey, I guess, eh?
I don't even know how I got into hockey. It was I just always did it.
Do you want to talk about your curves now? Because I was going to save it for later, but I think it's probably time now. We were going to get into what are you doing now? Do you have a day job? Because your email screams you may work for Warrior.
I do work for Warrior.
Say with that sweater you're wearing.
This is good
plug. Yeah,
exactly. Just throw it in there, you know.
Yeah,
we got a couple teams now in England now, so I'm really happy to get over there.
And you also could sponsor the shed. We're looking for sponsors. You could send my kids free sticks, and then I'll shout out Warrior all the time because that shit is expensive.
That's very true, Waldo. That's. I mean, when I think back at it, I remember my dad giving me $30 and telling me to go get a stick from the local hockey shop, and he just run in there, just grab like a wooden twig that was on sale. But
it ain't like that no more.
No, but yeah, no, that's my day job. Work with Warrior, and then after that's done, then straight to the rink.
So, Rob Collins, you remember him? Dusseldorf. Yes.
Oh yeah, dirty player.
Oh gosh, yeah. So my childhood hero, and I went golfing with him the other day, and he used a curve similar to mine his whole career, and then he got talking to me about toe curves. And now that I have you in the shed, he was telling me that with the new technology, you can really whip them, and then like it's I'm not gonna get into everything he told me, but he said I got to try it. You were using a toe curve, and I chirped you ruthlessly.
That one was definitely too big.
It was the ugliest looking stick I've ever played with.
You didn't play with it, you just seen it. Or are you talking Liney's? Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was I have one here still. That's definitely ugly. That's it shouldn't have been like that.
It was literally like straight, right? And then it was just the most aggressive curve at the end, like just at the end, like it almost.
Yeah, I just needed something to scoop, you know.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, no, it's definitely evolved into something different than that, but but
you're still a toe curve guy.
Oh yeah, toe curve. Yeah, that started from when I was young. But,
talk to Warrior, talk to the big dogs, find out if you could send me a toe curve so I could try it out, and then we'll
put it this way. I do have exactly your curve with a toe on.
What what do you mean? You have a heel toe curve? How do you have that?
You're the old Linden guy. You used an old Linden
P106, baby.
Exactly. So we have that curve, and somebody gave it to us and was like, "I need a little thing on it." So
a little je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, exactly. So
really,
So we have. I mean, what we have in molds and stuff like that is ridiculous. But this curve, I'll never forget. There's two guys that use it that I know, and they're both right-handed, and they're both really dirty hockey players. So I can't really chirp the curve.
Well, I wouldn't mind trying this thing.
Yeah.
Just thinking out loud, if you want to sponsor the show,
I'm talking about the 106 curve, not this one. The two guys that use the 106, you and Brad Miller. Yeah, you guys know where the short side shelf is.
I don't know. Bauer stopped making that stick though. Like right when I was done, it's like, yeah, they ended it right when I ended my career. You can't even find them now. Brutal.
No, it's sad.
It is sad. It's a great curve. Great curve. Anyways, so you go to the St. Albert Saints. Is that in the same neck of the woods then? Is that by Edmonton?
It's a suburb of Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's all coming to me now. So your rookie year, what are you, like 15, 16? You put up 47 points and 137 penalty minutes. So what are you doing to get all those penalty minutes as a young pup and junior? You fighting people?
I was fighting. I was fighting
older men.
I was fighting older men. But I mean, this will never happen anymore in today's hockey. But I will never forget this. Gord Thibodeau, great coach, love him to death. Brad Casper was a 20-year-old on the team at the time, and this was my first training camp in junior. And I'm sitting on the bench and I'm getting ready to go on the ice, and Brad Casper's we're playing an inter squad game. He's on the other team. He's like, "Let's go, Ty." I was like, "Hey, Brad, what's up?" And he's like, "No, let's go." And I'm like, "No, dude, you're 6'3".
And you're 20 years old.
Yeah, you're 20 years old. I'm 15. Like, what are you talking about? And anyway, so then I left the ice. I just changed. I was like, nope, changed. And at that point, one of the older players, Tim Schneider, came up to me, put his arm around me, and he was like, pretty much told me, "Hey, you need to do this." And I was like, "Come on, man! Like this is a man child. Like I can't. Like what? I have no chance." He's like, "Ty," he's like, "You got to prove to all the guys you're going to be on this team. Like, you got to prove to the coach that you're not a baby, you're not a pussy." Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So
can't be one of them.
No. So I started okay, you got to do this, try to build yourself up. And I just remembered my dad telling me that if you ever get mad at somebody and you're going to fight them and you really want to beat them up, then wait till the end of their shift.
Yo.
So I was like, okay.
So you went strategic at 15 years old, eh?
So what did I do? So he skated by the bench and he kind of chirped me a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, wait. And then what ended up happening was on the way back, I just jumped on the ice. It was definitely 6-on-5. And I grabbed him, dropped the gloves and fought him for the first time.
Well, did okay. Just an inter squad game. The extra player is you're just showing everybody, watch my balls drop, right?
Exactly. So it turned out that's what happened. Did good on the first one.
Hockey used to be a lot different, didn't it?
Oh yeah. It's definitely.
When I was in junior, man, line brawls were not that uncommon.
It happened at least once every 2 weeks.
It's totally different.
Yeah. So that's how all that penalty action happened in the next 2 years.
Okay. So you just fought that season, but you also put up 47 points as a young buckaroo. So the second year there, 82 points, 226 penalty minutes. So I know most teams, right? Once you're the scorer, they don't really want you to fight because you're the scorer. I don't know. This team seemed to want you to do both, right? It's tough when you sit in the penalty box for 226 minutes of the season to put up 82 points.
I would just comment on this as just being probably wasn't the smartest idea, and I didn't really pick or choose the right times. They would say, but
you're learning.
I was learning. There was a lot of testosterone going around in the body. I met a girlfriend the one time, and she actually, the first thing she said was, "I'm not going to ever come to a hockey game unless you tell me you're going to fight somebody." So,
oh dear.
So, I mean, obviously, I was like,
jeepers.
Just pick out somebody. I'll just point them out.
Fight anybody. That's funny. But that season, 32 points in 20 playoff games. So did you guys almost win the whole thing?
We lost in Game 7, 1-0. Game 7 of the finals. Yeah. Camrose Kodiaks. That was
the Camrose Kodiaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They went on to
Don't
win the
tell
national
me Matt.
championship.
Yeah. Don't tell me Boots Matt Ponto's on that team.
You betcha.
Yeah, Western Michigan Bronco folks.
Yeah.
Prettiest guy at the college. All the girls wanted him.
Ponce was a pretty human being.
Oh God. And then he could flip girls over like on the dance floor. You know, they'd be out two-stepping, and then he'd flip them over, and my gosh, would they be hot and bothered once the pretty guy flipped them. So game set match, folks.
Exactly. With task when where I was living, or where my Standort was at that time, it's only a half an hour away from Wetaskiwin where I was living, Camrose. So we would always go there in the summertime. And this is where the first time I actually met Ponce face to face. And this is where I seen all the magic happen. I was like, I need to learn how to do that.
That guy can work the dance floor and the two-step. There's no doubt.
Oh,
yeah, no, that's small world. I didn't know you knew him, but yeah, he lived beside me all 4 years in college. So
yeah,
or 3 years. He was a year ahead of me. Great dude, though.
Great guy.
Great guy. So he beat you in the finals. That stinks, eh?
Yeah.
1-0. Probably didn't get over that yet.
It was a 1-0. It was 1-0 game. Like, come on, like
it sucks.
Like, make it interesting. Like, should have been like 6-5 or something, but like a 1-0 game, like that might as well just put a stake in my heart.
Losing sucks. They say it's the opposite of winning. You know?
Correct. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Hockey's way more fun when you win. Anyways, so you're drafted to the Calgary Hitmen, the research team found, because they are thorough. But you never played for them. You played for Swift Current. So did they trade your ass before you even got there?
No, I took a full ride to Denver University because I was playing in the Junior A League. I was going to school, and
you got a full ride to Denver and didn't take it?
Hey, come on here. We're not. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to make excuses. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Flew down there, seen the school. My buddy Jeff Drummond was playing there at the time. I really don't know why I didn't go. I'll put it this way. This was one of those things that you just say, it was a little mistake in my life.
Well, you can call it whatever you want, right? It's a windy, twisty road we get on in hockey, right? And you never know. But so why did you make the decision not to go? Because Denver, Colorado, I've never really been there, but I hear nice things. And I'm pretty sure back around then they were winning national championships.
That was the plan. It was me and Paul Stastny down there in our freshman year together.
And the other guy was roller hockey enthusiast Gabe Gauthier.
Gabe Gauthier was already there putting his stat book together.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe
good
Gauthier,
good squad.
Yeah. Caldwell was there. Dubowitz.
Caldwell, like Ryan Caldwell.
Yeah. I think I actually spent the night in his dorm, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, you know a lot of people I didn't realize the research team didn't find, because Calds, when I first started this, was one of the guys I reached out to do it. He's a scout for the NHL now, and he says he can't come on while he's doing that, but he could give me a whole bunch of phone numbers.
Yeah, no, but this long story
but that's
short,
not how I work. I wanted him. I didn't want all his other guys, you know.
Now, long story short, I turned out in late summer. My grandpa passed away. There was just a lot of just stress about the whole entire thing. And then Swift Current, I was a free agent in the WHL, and Swift Current came knocking at my door. They were rated number 1 in the country before we even started. Alex Levitt was playing on that team at that time, childhood friend.
Baby.
And
he's a childhood friend of yours?
We grew up playing hockey against each other since we were babies.
God, hockey's a small world when you get talking around. He's a funny guy, dude. He came to the shed and he's hilarious.
Levy knows what's up.
he does know what's up. You're right.
Yeah. So then I just so after talking with him and his parents, his dad actually called me too about it, and then told me what kind of opportunity this was. And then I dropped my scholarship and then went to Swift Current and asked for a trade 2 months later. It was a great decision.
So you went there and then asked for a trade?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think anybody on that team. I mean, we had Ian White, we had Jeremy Williams, we had Levitt. I mean, we had.
There was another guy that played. Research team was hot. He was in Switzerland. The guy that led.
Redenbach.
Redenbach. There you go.
There you go. Redenbach. Yeah, Tyler.
Tyler. There it is.
Yeah. Tyler. He had the. I'm telling you, this was the biggest blonde fro you could ever see. This guy, when he plucked it up, it was as curly as hair that I've ever seen in my life, and it was blonde. And I'm telling you, like, if he grew it out, it was this big. It was. So
you went to this team that had all these studs, and then you're like, geez, I'm not gonna get ice time here, so I better go to a shitty team. But you went there because they're in first place, man.
No, I didn't go there because we didn't even step on the ice yet. We were just rated #1 in the country.
Oh. So what was wrong when you got there?
Well, I mean, it's hard to make up any good excuses for this that actually sound, I don't know. Really tough. I was playing with Levy, point per game. Everything was fine, but it was just, I don't know, like the coaches were just pushing me in the wrong direction. I think the one story, I think a lot of people who know me back from Western Canada, there was a situation where I was on the blue line and I had the puck and my centerman was coming through and I chipped it like through the middle and he went in on a breakaway. And my coach told me never to do that again.
Pass it to a guy for breakaway.
Well, yeah. So anyways, he was like, well, I was like,
he wanted you to chip it.
Chip it off the boards, chip it off the boards, let your chip it in there,
into get it deep. Yeah, because Levy would have been thrilled if you did that shit.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure the comment that came out of my mouth was, do you think that I was drafted by Vancouver at this time? This was definitely something that I should have never said as a 18-year-old. But I was like, do you think that the coach from Vancouver tells Mark Crawford, tells Bertuzzi and Naslund to chip the puck in deep? And that was pretty much the end of my stint in Swift Current.
Right. There. But that old school mentality, man. It was different. Very different.
Yeah. I would like to say that we were ahead of the curve. Like we knew where hockey was going.
Dude. Nobody was even doing the spinneroonies. That shit was happening in the second league of Germany for years. Now Patrick Kane does it once in the NHL. All of a sudden, it's a cool thing. Shit was happening in Bietigheim for years. Spinneroonies every time I went down the ice, folks.
The NHL definitely finally caught up to us.
Hey, we were dropping it back on the power play too.
Hey, we actually did that.
I know. I was one that made you.
Ty, if you see somebody in front of you, just leave the puck.
Do not skate it all the way up. If you don't drop it back, I'm going to be way fucking back here without the puck.
I did pass it back, folks. I did pass it back.
And Stefan Robitaille, was he on that power play? Was he there when you were there?
No, he was the year before.
Okay, I did it with him. That's when it started. Yeah. Works though, screws up the gap. Just thinking you're an assistant coach, do you guys drop it back on the power play?
Well, the one group drops it back, but they're not that far. They're not that far yet. They gotta. It's 5 new guys. I don't even know these guys.
You'll get there by Christmas, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping we get there by tonight, but let's see what happens. let's see what
happens. That just made me think of Christmas markets when I brought up Christmas. Oh gosh, Germany's fun.
Well, we'll put it this way, Waldo. If you ever want to come back, Peiting is known. It's known in southern Germany for having the best Glühwein at a hockey game.
What Glühwein all kind of tastes the same, though, no?
Apparently, I don't know. I've never had one from Peiting, but apparently,
you're too busy working, right?
Well, I was too busy playing, but
Glühwein is pretty good, but man, it can get you awfully into one when you're out in the fresh air and you're trying to stay warm.
Yeah, that's why you got to throw a shot of amaretto in there.
Or rum. They offer both. Yeah, Germany was fun though. Those Christmas markets, you go out as a team or with the boys. That's as fun as hockey gets. That and the beer tents,
Well, there's a lot of team building definitely over the season in Germany.
Especially in the Oberliga. Do you guys still have Kabine Fest?
Yeah, twice a month. At least
if you're the GM of a team and you stop Cabina Fest, I will come over there and kick you right in the dick.
well, I'm pretty sure that I was the first one who paid for the first Cabina Fest this year. You got to push that.
You got to get that going. That is how teams win, folks. Cabina Fest. You got to bring the boys together. That means locker room party. You take turns bringing in food and you get the beers, and then you just hang out in the locker room after a practice at the start of the week. And then you might hit the town after the locker room, right? As a team.
Nobody knows.
But as a team. Right?
Very true. Very true. Very true.
And you need that shit.
It's crucial. If you don't have that, then you won't win.
You will not win. You're right.
That's fact.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Moving on. So you didn't go to Calgary. You get to Swift Current. You ask for a trade. They trade your ass to the Vancouver Giants.
Correct.
Were you guys any good there?
We lost in the second round, I think, of the playoffs. We had a good squad. That was when Gilbert Brule was coming up.
I got a couple names written down here. Gilbert Brule. Yeah. So when I went to Columbus training camp, he had literally just been drafted like 6th or 7th overall. And that was the training camp I was at. And we were doing like the physicals at the doctors. And just through my experiences in hockey I was not big enough. I was not big enough to play in the NHL. I was never going to make it. That is what everybody had told me my entire life. And then Gilbert Brule walked out of the room. I'm like, everybody's talking about how he could win the Calder, how he's like top 6 draft pick and he's ready now. And he was fucking smaller than me. I was flabbergasted.
I got no comment on that one. I mean,
he wasn't big.
He's definitely not big. And your guys' talents, I mean, I wouldn't say that he was better than you or anything like that. It was just
shut up.
I said he wasn't better than pumping your tires.
And I'm saying shut up. Doesn't even make sense. He's a 6th overall pick to the NHL. The other guy that was good is Adam Korshane.
Doofy. Yeah.
Doofy. I think he was in Dusseldorf.
Wow. Yeah, he showed up around Germany. He's got a couple Oktoberfests under his belt.
Yeah. So that would be pretty good. Did you play with them at all?
Yeah, I was actually with Lynch and Doofy on a line, and they picked me up before every single game, and I wasn't allowed to talk. They had their own ritual. They were really, really into their pregame ritual. And,
you weren't allowed to talk.
Well,
it was not recommended.
Well, nobody ever said please don't talk, but I mean,
it was
they were doing like when they would get coffee, they would speak like just like order exactly the same every single time, and then like when they would give it over, it'd be a thank you, my friend. And I was just sitting in the back, just checking this out, and I'm new. And I was just like, you know what, boys, you guys can do whatever you want.
I wonder if that was just a junior thing or if they carried that shit with them.
I'm pretty sure they didn't. Because
you can get into some funky stuff in junior, right? When you think it's cool to do stuff, and yeah.
Definitely. But no, it was a very blessing in disguise getting to Vancouver. That's for sure. I ended up living there for the next 5 years of my life. Kept going back there after the seasons were over, and it was Vancouver, Tawasin area where we were. It was unbelievable. And the boys were good, and the organization's first class.
I've never been out that way, but it looks nice. But I always would have pictured Gilbert Brule coming from the Quebec League.
He's born in Edmonton.
See, who knows? You don't know the stuff till you get in the shed. But anyways, okay. Let's see here though. Vancouver's nice, but when do you get drafted by the Canucks? Were you with the Vancouver Giants then?
No, after that
when you were going to Denver. In junior, you got drafted out of junior.
Yeah, and that's when I said I wasn't going to school, that's when Brian Burke called me and pretty much had a couple words for me.
So he was telling you should be going to school.
Oh yeah, he was pushing me to go to school 100%. I mean, you get to save 4 years on a prospect. I mean, that's just being smart. Like I said, I wasn't smart at that time in my life. But
are you claiming you are smart now?
I'm definitely a smarter human being than I was 17 years
You
ago.
do live and you learn, right? You try to.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's when I got there. That's when I was drafted, and it turned out. It was fun. I went to 2 camps. It was all good. But I mean, I think anybody else who's ever been in that type of situation can see right away when Ryan Kessler comes in and signs right off the bat as the first rounder, and you're the 4th rounder, and nobody really talks to you.
Right.
You can
Nobody
kind of
talking to you.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's definitely, you can see the writing on the wall, and yeah, it's fine. That's why I jumped over to Europe so quick.
Well, and yeah, then so you did get your ass traded one more time though to the Red Deer Rebels.
Yes.
Was that to go on a playoff run?
No, that was a little bit of both. That was a playoff run, and that was also we had too many 20-year-old guys at that time, and in that has the rules changed? I mean, you're only allowed to have 3 20-year-olds still, right?
Probably. I mean,
yeah,
the research team can only know so much about hockey rules.
Yeah. So he, so they,
so at the overage year, yeah, there's definitely a rule.
Yeah. Mark Fistrick was our captain at that time, and he broke his jaw. So we needed to get another player to play defense, and they put me back on D, and I held my own. I could.
Is that right? You went DE at your last year junior?
Well, I just for a couple games, and then I think they realized,
that's good though. But like a 4th rounder to the show, there's a lot of punks out there that would say, I'm drafted to the show. They don't want to see me on defense.
Oh, I was excited. I love defense. It's great.
I get you. Your top scorer, I've heard his name before, and I've seen him play. Roman Wick, Swiss guy. He's good, eh?
Wicky's. That's where the toker starts, buddy.
Really?
That's where it all started, right there.
Because you saw him do really good, and you're like, geez, I want to do that.
I wouldn't really say that. I think that
you tried to stick in practice. Did he shoot the same way as you?
Yeah, he was a lefty. I tried it, and I just like to handle the puck. So I was, So then I was taking.
So Collins is telling me it's like almost like having it in a lacrosse stick, that the toe at the end almost keeps it like a pocket, and then when it's time to shoot it, you just like whip it, and then you use the flex and.
Yeah, you're a classic type of guy. Like you're a heel toe type of guy.
I am.
When you got a toe curve, you can just scoop it and just let her rip. It's great.
But you're saying I could get the heel and the toe going.
Oh, you can have best of both.
How would you backhand that shit? That'd be wild.
I'll teach you. You know how my backhand was great.
No, I don't think I ever saw you use it. Okay. So whatever. Dion Phaneuf was on that team too, eh?
Colin Fraser.
Good team then.
Yeah, we did well.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. Best 5-on-3 I've ever had in my life. Just pretty much I was playing D in the 5-on-3, and it was pretty much you get the puck from Colin, you give it to Dion and see what happens. And I'm pretty sure I had about 14 assists that way.
So Dion's a lefty, so you are playing the top left, passing over to his one-timer.
Exactly. It was the easiest job of my life.
And he'd just throw his tits into her.
Oh, yeah. Just lean right into that synergy.
55 points in 42 games you had. Only 35 penalty minutes. So did someone finally have a talk with you and say, hey, I don't think you're that good at fighting. You're not that big. You're not that strong.
That talk, I'll never forget that talk. It was during the World Junior times, and that was the year that they had that Canada had that unbelievable squad. And somebody ran over our captain at that time, and I grabbed him and fought him, and everything was fine. And after that, I got back from the penalty box. Brent Sutter grabbed me at the back of the jersey and told me never to do that again. I need your hands to score, and that's where my life changed.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
You still want someone to do that for your captain, right?
Well, I still live in that same day and age that if somebody destroys your captain, that you stick up for your captain.
Someone goes and does something.
Yeah. Nowadays it's really just
if you don't, then that other team owns your ass, in my opinion.
Exactly. So I still live
I
by
would
that
still
code.
totally take the penalty for the team. Like, we'll kill that shit. You know,
I could definitely see you pulling a Phil Kessel and just slashing like 5
Are
times.
you serious? You think that's who I am? I get in there and muck right up, Ty.
Yeah, it's very true. I've seen you do it.
Slash, guys. There was no mucking it up in Germany. Nobody's doing nothing there. Get penalties for hitting hard in that league.
Yeah, that's still happening.
Do they have reffing courses over there?
No, but
They should start.
Well, no, they do, but the problem is that the
Who's
people that are teaching them, yeah, seriously, it's
God,
it's ridiculous. I mean, and then they tried to explain to us last year that we're changing all the rules to be like North America NHL, and I'm like, what? You guys should just keep to your own thing, because if you guys try to do what they do,
yeah,
it'd
be a bloodbath out there.
Oh, yeah. All right. Enough about reffing. I'm getting going here. I have to worry about that.
Sorry. Who do you play tonight?
Play Rosenheim tonight.
Rosenheim.
Yeah.
Are they in the second league?
No, they're in the third league. They went down too.
Do they play in that old barn still?
Yeah, the old barn is a little bit renovated right now, but what a coincidence. They have their festival right now on. Mm-hmm. So I know
two. Are you playing there?
No, we go there next weekend, but there's 2 of their top players who are
hungover today,
injured,
yeah.
And they will not be making the trip today. So I already know where they are.
Yeah, just a healthy guess, right?
Yeah, exhibition game.
It's preseason, folks.
Exactly. Pick and choose your spots, folks.
So you don't sign with the Canucks, then, is what I'm gathering. So what are your pro options?
Pro options. Well, that year in Red Deer, Sutter got me into an East Coast team. So right after the playoffs were over, I was supposed to go down to the coast, and then I blew my knee out in the last game of the season. So that didn't happen.
No.
Yeah. And then after that, I was pretty much, left there to rot. And then had to make a couple calls myself and pull in a couple favors from some friends. And then I went down to South Carolina. That's how I got down there.
So you played one game for the Columbia Inferno.
Yeah, and at the end of my, before I got surgery on my shoulder on that year, was they didn't want to. This was one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of. I never even knew this was actually, this actually happens. I got a physical done the week before I got traded to Columbia, and they were like, "Okay, you need shoulder surgery." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So I get all the checkups and everything, and then I get traded. And then when I get to Columbia the same day, one of their guys drove over and picked me up because it's just down the road. I get to the rink and throw my stuff in the stall, and then the coach is kind of explaining to me what's going on. And I'm like, okay, am I playing tonight? And he's like, yeah, you're playing tonight. I'm like, well, I just
told I need shoulder surgery.
Exactly. So I was like, what do you what's going on here? And they said, oh yeah, well, the only reason why we traded for you is because that we're going to pay for the surgery. And I was like, okay, so, but I still need to play tonight. And they're like, yeah, we need you to play tonight. So I literally played the one game in Columbia. And then after that, the doctor came after the game, did another physical, said the same thing as the other doctor. You need shoulder surgery. I was like, all right. And that was it. And then I just stayed in Columbia for the next 2 months. And then at the end of the season, they gave me surgery. I didn't even practice anymore. It was great.
But they paid for the surgery.
They paid for the surgery. They paid for the workers' compensation. They paid for the big hula la. And I just was in Columbia reaping the benefits.
Played one game for them.
Exactly. I like.
Because that's the same season you're in South Carolina, though. So you're in South Carolina to begin with. And you're doing all right. A couple guys on that squad, okay?
Leaguer.
Jeff Legui.
Yeah, roommate.
He was your roommate there.
He was my.
And they shipped his ass to Daytona Beach, Ohio.
I'm telling you, I know Jared Bednar, Stanley Cup champion, was the assistant coach at that time, but some of the decisions that were made during that season were very question marky.
Yeah, well, if you're not, maybe he's not making the decisions on player personnel, but Jeff Legui's an awfully pretty good player, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Another guy on the squad, Ryan Finnerty.
Oh, Finner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would he would have been like, he's older than us, right?
Yeah, he's a little bit older than us. Not
Would
too
he
much
have been
older.
like a few years into the coast, really running amok then? Really?
Well, I mean,
was it his team? I could picture it being his team.
I'm pretty sure it was him and Ryan Gomez's team. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Him and Gomer, they were inseparable. They fought everybody. They ran amok in every bar in town.
Yeah.
But
in the bars too. Yeah.
The Finner
he seems like a player.
Finner was a great hockey player. What he taught me was that the same thing is what I pretty much already knew, like stick up for your teammates. So once again, I'm playing on a line with Finner and Gomer, and I'm pretty much the only skilled guy there. Well, at least I thought. And somebody hammered Trevor Johnson, our captain. So I did the same thing as what you knew. It's just like an instinct to grab the guy. And all I hear is Finner yelling at me. I'm in a fight. I got the guy on the glass. I'm in a fight. Finner's yelling at me, go down, Ty. And I'm like, Finner, what? Like, I'm in a fight. Like, come on, man. Like, what about, hey, Elfgates or whatever, you know, like, let's go.
Let's like beat him up.
Yeah. And he's yelling at me to go down. So I throw a couple like jabs or whatever, and then literally like seatbelt this guy and pull him down to the ice. Take the 5 minutes. Everybody loves it because he stuck up for your captain. And then Finner's like, dude, do you know who that is? I'm like, no. He's like, did you not read the game notes before the game? And apparently he had the most penalty minutes in the whole entire East Coast Hockey League. And literally, if he would have strung me out, probably don't know if I'd be here today.
Right. And if you can fight the wrong guys, if you don't know.
Exactly.
Sometimes they don't even look like the guy. And then I know.
And that's Finner. That's Finner to a T. Like little small stocky guy, but man, could he chuck him.
I couldn't really chuck him.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I did try. I never did that. What are you talking about? I never slashed him like that.
That's very true.
In Daytona Beach, I fought like 5 times. Really bucked her up
with those little things. With those little paws?
Yeah. These muffin mitts, baby. I fought my second last game professional hockey too with Cardiff.
Oh
yeah.
Oh boy.
Ever heard of a Kevin Noble? Real punk.
I've never heard of that name. Sorry.
Yeah, you don't need to. He's a punk. Yeah, it was one of those things you're talking about. My defenseman, one of my best buddies, Carl Hudson, wheel it in, flying, and the guy literally slid on his hands and knees across and took him out at the knees. Like that's
dangerous.
Yeah, and it was horse manure, and I was right behind waiting for the drop pass, and I was like, well, here we are.
If I don't get this drop pass, I might have to shed the minutes.
Well, so Carl went flying. He did like a cartwheel. Like I thought he was dead. And then there I was. So I fought him, and a
melee.
I think I did quite well.
I'm thankful that those muffins are still intact.
We're fine. He didn't even get me with a clean one. I think you could almost say it was a draw.
I was hoping for a win there, but
that would be a stretch. So after that year though, so that's how it ends, is in Colombia. So they traded you and Legui out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you go to Colombia, get your shoulder fixed. And then how does the decision work to go to Europe?
Was at the NHL draft in Vancouver. And my uncle worked with the Oilers for a long time, so I kind of knew a lot of the personnel. And while I was with one arm walking around, I didn't have any of the good pain poppers on me, so it was a little bit thumping and a little bit sore. So I decided to go for a walk. And while I was going for a walk, I seen one of the Oilers guys. So he invited me in the box, and we started watching the draft in the box. And Jeff Ward was a head coach of the Iserlohn Roosters and a scout for the Edmonton Oilers. And he asked me what I was doing, and then brought me over to Germany.
Jeff Ward did.
Yeah.
Jeff Ward was my substitute grade 6 gym teacher.
There's a lot of coincidences going on today.
And I'm not joking. You can ask him. Park Manor Elementary School, Elmira, Ontario. Before he got right into coaching, he was the substitute teacher. I think he was already into coaching at that point. So that's how you get there, eh?
Yeah.
But he wasn't in Peiting. You went to Peiting.
No, he he set me up with like a couple numbers and stuff like that. He told me that he'll tell somebody to get a couple contracts sent over type of thing. I was going in blind.
That's pretty cool that he helped you out and he didn't really know you.
No, it was the first time me meeting him on that day, but I mean, just because of all the Edmonton alumni that was up there that I knew, I guess he just took their word for it type of thing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Neato. Good work. Good work, Wardo. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. One guy that was on your team in Peiting that year, Dan Howman.
Oh boy.
Great
boy.
guy, eh?
Yeah, that's yeah, he's a gem. He really is
one of my favorites. He was in Bietigheim with me. And one of my favorite stories of my time over in Germany was we talk about how different it is, right? I talk about how lunch hours in Germany, they actually take a break. They actually stop working and like all sit down and eat. And Sundays, everything's closed. You literally have to you spend time with your family. So if you don't work. And Dan Howman, my second year in Germany when I'm in Bietigheim, he got the police called on him for gardening on a Sunday at his own house. His neighbors called the police on him for gardening on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's one for the books. I have no idea why that rule is, but I mean, I got in trouble the other day actually because I had a fantasy football draft at my house and the grass was a little bit too long. And all the Canadian US boys were like, "Why don't you cut the grass? Why didn't you cut it before we got here?"
It's Sunday.
And I was like, "It's Sunday, boys. What are you thinking?"
Yeah, you can't cut the grass on Sundays.
Yeah, and then
and that's when you get shit done in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100%. But I'm lucky that I got a good neighbors behind me. So when they turn on the Bluetooth speaker a little bit louder than was allowed on a Sunday afternoon, they actually came over and grabbed a beer and enjoyed the time with us. So it was perfect. So there was no cops coming.
Right. You just need neighbors to smile and enjoy themselves instead of call the cops. But yeah, Dan Hall was a great teammate, great dude. Loved my time with him at Bietigheim. Watched a lot of UFC fights together, you know?
Yeah.
That's so your first year, I find in Europe is probably the most important one you have because there's a lot of dudes that go over there for a season and then that's about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had 61 points in 47 games played. It's pretty good.
It was decent.
Was your team any good?
We were 8th place, lost in the first round.
Yeah, that's not memorable. Okay, but
that was the first year I was inducted into a Cabina Fest or introduced to a Cabina Fest. It was a great year.
It is a great year. Your first Cabina Fest, you never forget that shit.
No, never.
My first 2 weeks in Germany, or the first week, that was our team trip to Oktoberfest, and it was only 30 minutes away from Landshut. And like when I saw what we did as a team, and I was like, wow, this is hockey.
Where has this been all my life?
And the fellas were so kind. I was staying at the GM's house at that time. They did not let me go back there that night. I stayed over at a teammate's. Thanks, Richie. Didn't want to get the kerfuffle started right away because I had fun at Oktoberfest. You know?
Richie knew what was going on.
He knew I shouldn't go to the GM's house like that. Oh dear. Okay. So anyways, the research team's pretty good at finding out when guys fall in love, but I haven't had a love story on for a while. And that first year you play in Peiting and then you play a bunch of other places and then go back to Peiting for 8 years and then say life. So your first year in Germany, did you or did you not fall in love? And can I hear the story?
You want the story?
I do. How'd you meet?
How did we meet?
How are your 4 girls not going to know all this shit unless we tell them in the chat?
That's very true. It's very true. No, I met Verena through our goalie's girlfriend. It was about the second month into the season, and she was like, "Hey, she's from Yugoslavia, by the way."
Verena's?
No, the goalie's the goal, Varian Kur's wife. Yeah, Jurga is her name. Jurga. And Jurga was like, "Hey, I have a nice friend for you," and I was like, "Yeah, thanks, Jurga."
Yeah.
So I didn't really take it too seriously. And over the next couple of weeks, whatever, she came to these games and after seeing her one time, I was like, oh, maybe I should meet Jurga's friend. So yeah, I went over there and chatted with her a little bit. She, gave the old I don't speak English card, where when she actually wanted to speak, it was fluent. And you're like,
Right.
oh, okay.
Toying with me like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So we kind of bounce around a little bit, and every single time I tried to line up a date or whatever, she always had a great excuse,
Toying
So
with you.
yeah. So then Jurga, she set up an evening where we had dinner at their place. She came over and I cooked, wanted to impress. And after that night, we were walking to the car, and I just said to her, hey, like the last couple of times that we met up, we've always been around people, like you just want to go out and get a drink, just the two of us. And then she gave me the old no, I gotta work. I was like, okay, all right, well, this is
Fair
the
enough.
end of this. This is the end of this. I mean, I've put in some time and effort here.
You've been working hard. You've been mucking it up. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not getting anywhere with it. So I know where to cut the line. So so I cut the line, and then she wrote me back like a week later, like, hey, do you want to come over and watch a movie? And that was it. Then that was it. That was, the old movie.
You just had to stand your ground, eh?
Exactly. I just had to stop texting her and stop saying hello to her. And then I get an invite to the movie night.
You had to play hard to get. And the rest is history, as they say.
Then the rest is absolutely history. Yeah.
So after that year in Peiting, you go to actually it says you played a game for the Victoria Salmon Kings. And
correct.
Which one's first, that or Bad Nauheim? Got to be Victoria.
Victoria was first because the NHL dream kicked back in the summertime. I don't know.
After a good year in the third league.
No, I went back to Vancouver after that year in Peiting that first year, and Verena came over. I was training with Seabrook and Duncan Keith and Johnny Lammers, and we were on the ice at some right times, and then the Manitoba Moose called me, and they wanted me to play with the Moose. So I was kind of like, okay, that's where the dream kind of kicked back in, and so kind of did everything they wanted me to do. And when it came down to flying to Manitoba for the training camp, there was just no ticket. I was like, oh, how am I supposed to get over there? And then, we forgot you.
So there's no like contract. They just want you to go to camp, and
the contract was with Victoria,
right?
And they wanted me to come to the camp, and Victoria, they had a bunch of guys living out there at that time, so they had a bunch of practices set up and everything. So I ended up signing with Victoria to go to the Moose, but Finnerty was also on that team, the Victoria team. I played one game there. Yeah, kind of knew what was going on.
I'm heading out of here again.
I'm getting the hell out of here. Yeah.
And you got the deal in Bad Nauheim in the third league, which they become a second league team. So anyways, that year you're doing well in the third league for the bulk of it. And then I remember this because this is the year I'm in Landshut. Landsberg has a great team. They got Doug Andrus, shed guy, Adam Mitchell, who's right from around here, and David Wrigley. They have some great imports in the second league in Germany, and they're doing well. And then they pretty near go tits up, and they let all the imports go. And then they play with just a brutal team, and that's when you go there?
Well, yeah. Landsberg's only 10 minutes away from where Verena and I lived at that time. And while I was in Bad Nauheim, I'll never forget this. Verena picked me up after a bus trip, and we were driving home, and she told me that she's pregnant.
Oh.
So that was pretty much a decision. Okay, do I go and suck in Landsberg, or do I just go to Landsberg and be at home type of thing? So I went to Landsberg basically just on the fact that Verena was pregnant. So I just went home. So I was then with her the whole entire time.
So you could be with her and then play on that team that wasn't really paying guys much.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I got all my money on that year, but I'm pretty sure that we never won one single hockey game.
No, you
Not
wouldn't
one.
have. No, I played against that team.
I'm pretty sure that my first game that I played was against Essen. We lost 13-1.
And
the second game was against Landshut, and I'm pretty sure they put up a 10 spot.
Well, and that was the thing that was one of the games that really confused me about European hockey, because I remember it, and I'm going to bring this up because it pissed me off that day, and it still does. Every game was very competitive in that league, but like I like playing the teams that are like at the top. I like playing the real games. Exactly. We played you guys when they had got rid of all those like top end imports. There's like skeleton crew left. And the team is fucking brutal. And we win by that much. Couple of like the Czech guys or even German guys that then have a big night that night and they're scoring their third or fourth point of the night. They were celebrating harder than if they won the fucking championship. I couldn't believe it. The fans were going nuts when you're putting up the seventh goal. The players are acting like, I thought, donkeys. Like, the one guy was celebrating like crazy. I'm like, you just scored the seventh goal. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's the mentality. That was the mentality from a lot of those guys over there. It's still frustrating. That still frustrates me when I see something like that to today. But
yeah,
you almost got to accept it sometimes because that's just what
the way it is. Yeah, it's the way it is. That's
if we win 10-0 and I have.
You imagine if you celebrated like that 7-0 on Ryan Finnerty's team and he was your teammate?
He'd probably, yeah.
I bet you he wouldn't be thrilled with it either.
No, I'm pretty happy.
Just thinking, I don't know him that well. He's only been in the shed twice, but I'm just spitballing here.
Throwing it.
Because I didn't like it, and I know like Richie Brunella, like he had a couple things to say about it, but like the different ways of growing up, and I guess when you're having a night, you're having a night, and you got to celebrate sometimes.
Still got to show some respect.
You would think.
Yeah.
That's what I would be teaching the kids. Moving on. So you got through Landsberg and you're having a kid now.
Yeah.
So did you go home for that summer? You're pretty much in Germany now.
No, yeah.
Now you're full go, full pull.
Yeah, exactly. There was no turning back there.
So you got your second league stint with Landsberg, but then you start the next season with Miesbach in the Oberliga. Where's that?
About a half an hour, 40 minutes away from where we live now.
Yeah. So you're in the area, you could say.
In the area. This was definitely one of the weirdest situations that I've ever been in my hockey career. I fired my agent because my agent wasn't really doing anything. I think you're going to see, I'm pretty sure this is same with every agent everywhere that, when you're at your high point, they're there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you start going down a little bit, they stop, or they forget to call you back.
They're on recruiting trips trying to find the new guys.
Exactly. So I switched my agent and I lined up with Greg Flowers. He's a Canadian guy who also lives over here now. And and he pretty much told me, Todd, this is the only deal that I'm going to give you because this is the only one that really makes sense. And it was literally your base salary is like $900 and you get points. You get $100 for every team point. You get $75 for every goal, $50 for every assist. It was just points for everything all over the
Really? I never ever had a contract where I got money for my own points. I did have it in Bietigheim where we got money for team points.
Yeah.
But never for my own. I think that would be hard to do, especially goals. I wouldn't want to be going in on a 2-on-1 thinking if I shoot, that's $100.
Well, it was 100. The team points were where you made your money, but definitely, yeah, it was a very weird situation. But if I wouldn't have listened to Greg at that time and took that really weird contract, and you
got 49 points at 36 games there.
Yeah, and we didn't have too many points on the team side of things. But Greg always told me, he's like, you sign this contract and I'm going to do the work. And that's exactly what he did, because the next note that you have on there is in the middle of the season.
He gets you to Landshut,
yeah,
to the Cannibals. Yeah. This is the year after I leave when we've just been in the finals, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And you got 11 points in 19 games. So you're an import coming in middle of the season. So they either gassed a guy or someone got fired. Probably.
They played the whole entire season with one less import than what they were allowed to. And then the deadline was coming, and then they picked me and Riley Mower from Miesbach. He's a defenseman. So they picked both of us up and said, "Hey, you guys you're gonna have to battle for a spot." And I won.
Yeah, you did. That playoffs, okay, you got 11 and 19, pretty good. But then the playoffs, I think, is where you set yourself up in Landshut. Like, playoffs matter in Landshut. How you play in playoffs really matter. You got 6 goals in 6 games that year.
That was ridiculous. I mean,
is that when they offer the new contract?
You're correct.
Yeah,
you're correct. Yeah. That was pretty much one of those situations that anything that you did was just worked out good. I don't know how. I mean, I broke my stick in the defensive zone, and I started skating to the bench once we got the puck, and I looked behind me and I seen it was 2 other guys and then me, and there was a big gap. So I was like, I could turn this into a 3-on-2. Give me a stick. So Benny Cotreau just put his stick out, and he uses a Lidstrom, and I just grabbed this stick. The high guy now, the guy passes it back, and I just shoot. There's no aiming involved.
And it wasn't just shooting. Your stick, yeah.
It wasn't even my stick. And then it just went in. It was just one of those years that just worked out perfect.
Well, yeah. And yeah, you got hot at the right time in playoffs. Landshut's a great place to play hockey, though, in a great city.
It's my second home. I love it.
I do too. I love the people there. Though that group of friends that are from Landshut, like that core of dudes might be them, and like the Brits in the UK are my favorite hockey guys, like as a group, kind of thing.
That group. I mean, it's almost. I mean, right now in Landshut, they're going through a little bit of turmoil. I mean, before it was always
that's because all those guys got old. All the beauties are gone.
But it was always Landshut for Landshut. It was always Landshut for Landshut. That's how it always was. And then
Landshut for Landshut, you mean? Yeah. And they'd have hometown boys on the team, and yeah.
It was just they always took pride in it. And what I've seen the last couple of years, I hope not too many people in Landshut get mad at me for saying this, but they lost that. And all those boys, they're still there. They're still there. Apshy, Gaipi, they're all there. They're just waiting. They're just waiting to get back involved into the managing side of things. They got to turn that place around. It's the only way to do it is by bringing those guys back in.
Well, I know they're the best guys in hockey. There's no way you're gonna have a bad organization when you get those guys involved. So what? Abshi's not involved?
Well, Abshi's just the coach of one of the junior programs. What is it? Under 7, under 9?
Really, that guy's a legend. God, he's a beauty. And Hammer just said, I woke up this morning, and that's how small the world is. I woke up this morning to a picture of Hammer sent me a picture of his daughter, 3 months old. She's a little beauty. But you don't see these guys for so long, and you wake up to a picture of their new kid. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. It's Landshut. I love it. Love it.
Great places to sit outside and eat food. They'll even put cranberries with your schnitzel. Threw me for a loop at first, but I loved it. So the next 2 years, you're an import, 45 and 46 points. Pretty good.
Yeah, we had a good team.
You proved you could play in the second league as an import. They're happy with you. Couple fellas that were on that team that seem to have done well from Landshut. Tom Kuhnhackl, shed favorite. Why my son wears number 14, and why there's a bunch of kids around town that wear Islander shirts around and Penguin shirts, because I started a ball hockey league after he let us come see him after NHL games. And I started a ball hockey league, so we made all the team Tom Kuhnhackl teams.
Tommy was unbelievable. I mean, you just him and Reed are both of them. You just knew right away that these guys are going to become hockey players.
Well, he was the other guy I'd written down, Toby Reeder. I remember playing pro against them, and it was like a year or two after we went to the finals, right? And like they were 17 and 18 or 16 and 17 wearing full face masks playing in the same league as me. I'm like, these kids should be playing like junior hockey somewhere, and they're playing with us out here, and they're just as good.
If not better. Yeah.
Yeah. They're fast. God.
The best was that those guys played, they had 3-and-3s every single weekend. They would play on Friday with us, Saturday with the juniors, and then Sunday again with us. It was, I mean, those guys, they
were getting ice time.
Oh yeah, they got put through the meat grinder for sure. That was definitely unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's when they went to the O or whatever, right? But anyways, moving on. Couple other Landsuit Cannibal legends that beauties. Camille Tupel, ice hockey god.
Yeah, biggest helmet in the league.
Folks, every time Camille Tupel, number 69, gets gets called, so they announce every player in Germany to come out. You'd say their first name, and then the crowd screams the last name. Well, Camille, number 9 and 6, right? 69 comes out. That you say Camille, and then the crowd yells, Tupel, ice hockey god.
Well, I mean, you gotta give credits where credit's due. For him to actually do the things with zero talent, couldn't skate. I mean, this guy was a freak of nature, bad body. I mean, he
could slow the play down slower than anybody's ever played it.
I mean, when this guy did a spinorama, he was the only guy to actually go backwards and then somehow go up. No idea.
He could go back, but then those little saucer passes through the neutral zone.
And it was not pretty. It was so ugly. It was so choppy, but it
got
just worked.
The job done.
Yeah, I don't know how it worked, but
so let's talk about the Torhüter, the goalie, Martin Sinnebalk. That guy. Every time you'd have a juice boy or like the end of the week shootout, right? He's a Czech goalie, folks, old school, stand-up style, really. This guy would do the wildest shit in the shootout at the end of the week, and he would stop everybody.
Everything. He was so good.
Dude, some of those young kids would start skating in, right? They'd get at the puck at the red line, and then they put their head down like, oh, look at the puck. He would skate out and like 2-pad stack. Slide tackle at the blue line in a shootout.
Oh yeah. And then would look back after stopping it, look back at all of us and just laugh.
Yeah. He was awesome. He was like the main reason why we almost won it that year in Landsuit, man. He was ice. That's hot.
Cinny is definitely, like you said, stand-up goalie, old school goalie, but man, he could get the job done.
Yes.
He was good.
Okay, so you're there for those 2 years. You guys didn't win anything, so let's move on. Beating I'm Steelers with us. I remember your contract with us, with Danny Held, beauty. May he rest in peace. I really liked him. But anyways, when you signed there, your contract was, if you're an import, it's this much. If you're German, it's this much. And you showed up as an import, and then we were hoping you get your German pass at some point that year, right?
Yeah, that was the hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hired a lawyer. They were supposed to do it. Didn't end up working out the way that it should have worked out. But at the end of the day, I left the team because I got another shoulder surgery.
Yeah,
same shoulder. But at the end of the year, the general manager called me, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? You guys want me back next year?" Or, yeah, no. But what he said to me was, have you looked at your bank account? And I'm like, nah, you know how it is in Germany, the bank account, there was no online banking back then. You actually had to go there and like print all those pieces of paper out.
All the pieces of paper. Yeah.
No, I never did
Every
that.
Transaction for the last couple months would spit out at you.
Exactly. You don't want to see that sometimes. So what ended up happening was he actually told me, he's like, I've been looking over the Konto and everything, and we paid you as German.
The whole
and
year.
I was like, I was like, oh, really? And like, yeah, we paid for you as a German, so you actually owe us money. And I was like, no, I don't. No, you
No, you
guys,
paid that to me.
Yeah, sorry. And he wanted some money back. So I said, no, I'm not giving you that money back. I'm sorry, man. You want to write me a bill
You're
for
gonna
10
have to
grand?
rip it out of my dead hands.
Exactly. Unless you guys want to give me a contract for next year, then we can talk. But other than that, I'm not giving you that money back. You guys paid me that money. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it turned out perfect because the BG was also going on that salary because of my shoulder as well. So it actually worked out. I mean, we'll put it this way. That year was probably not the best year of hockey that I've ever played. Had a bunch of fun with you boys. But at the end of the year, I was a little bit homesick and I was just happy to be home. And it turned out to be a very important year in my life. So
because you did get the German passport.
Exactly.
And the next season you play 2 games for Ravensburg and then 40 for the Munich Red Bull.
Yeah.
So you got your German pass and then Munich signs you?
Exactly. It's exactly what happened. I went to Ravensburg to get some ice time in because I was a free agent. And I knew a bunch of the guys on the team. So they brought me in to kind of get in shape type of thing. And then they wanted to sign me. But then I said, yeah, I'll play here. No problem. But if I get an offer from the DL, I had my pass at that time. So it was really, if I get an offer from the DL, then I can leave. And it happened within the first week I was there. So it turned out to be perfect.
So you're playing in Munich with the big boys, but like you talk about not having the apartment, I looked at the roster. It's not like the Red Bull Munich teams of nowadays that you guys had there.
Definitely not. This was the first year that Red Bull stepped in to see if there was a future
in Munich.
Yeah. So we got Red Bull. We got Red Bull to drink, but that was it.
They didn't give you any of the money.
No, they definitely didn't. They did give it to then Paul Stastny and Blake Wheeler.
Got that written down. Research team was hot. That's the lockout year. What a bloodbath in Germany it was that year. I found it very interesting how much German teams would pay NHL players to come. And like Paul Stastny and Blake Wheeler, I've seen them play. I know their character. Those guys would have been given her for the Munich Red Bull team, right?
And they did.
And they would. I can tell by the way they play hockey. I've seen them play. There were guys in the second league. I wouldn't say that about. Man, they'd be at the blue line, dangling, last man back on the power play. Poke checked away. Other team goes, scores on the penalty kill. And they just skate to the bench like it didn't even matter. And you're like, dude, this is our life. This is our livelihood. Like winning and losing matters to everybody here. Like, I know you got millions of dollars, but like, you can't do that.
Well, the best case that I've ever heard about it was Rick DiPietro. Rick DiPietro played in Garmisch.
I heard that. Yeah.
I don't know if it was I think it was like his third or fourth game, but he grabbed the puck behind the net, started dangling guys, like literally toe dragging players, and then he lost the puck and they scored a goal, and he was like, whatever.
Right. And then I heard he like started getting like healthy scratch in the second league in Germany, and he was on a 15-year NHL contract.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's still on that contract, isn't
he? Yeah. And then there's us grinding it out, right? And it's tough bounce for us. Good dangles though. But yeah, that lockouts, man, they're bloodbaths.
Yeah, we got really lucky with those two because those two guys also wanted to win. Like you said, they're great character guys. They didn't come in and no.
Yeah, exactly. And like there were guys that came in, they didn't want to get hurt. You know, they wanted to play and get some ice time, but they didn't care. I'm not when I'm talking about the guy losing it at the blue line. This was me watching it from my bench from the other team, right? Yeah. And I saw this guy from the other team. I'm like, wouldn't want that around.
There was definitely, I think that was probably the worst thing to happen in German hockey, that there was guys in the second league and in the third league that thought they were better than some NHL players. So,
but then you find out what they were paying those guys, and you're like, we're doing more than them.
Oh boy.
So Munich though, did you get much ice time? Do you get to play much?
I mean, Pat Cortina, our coach at the time, I mean, I didn't really get too cold. I would say I was around like 4 shifts a period.
That's all right.
If anybody in the top 2 lines or third line it was hurt or something like that, or wasn't playing well, then I usually got bumped up. But I knew that was just a stint. I knew that was the next day of practice, not going to be the same way.
Right.
But no, it was definitely good for to be up there and see, just to get a sniff of things. And what I found really good about it was I found out about myself too, that I can be a role player, like a team guy. Like before, it was
you
always
could be
like,
a team guy, Ty. You could be a team guy.
Yeah, but that year I actually knew that I could.
Right.
Like my job definitely wasn't to carry the load. That was definitely
right.
I understood.
But it would
right.
be in Peiting. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Every team you're on, you got a different role, right? You got to do what you got to do for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So after that year, though, you go back to LA for 2 more years, but now as German, right?
Correct.
Year 1 in the playoffs, 16 points in 14 games. So did you almost win it?
We lost in the semifinals in overtime. Who took the penalty?
I don't know. Abshi, really?
Abshi. Penalty in overtime. It was 4 and 4, 4 and 3 penalty kill.
Must run in the family. His brother-in-law, Gunther, took two in the final game of overtime
Castle.
against Castle. I'm sure Gunther hasn't got over it yet. I'm just guessing, but I don't know. I haven't talked. Sure. Yeah, great dude though. Awesome guy in the room. Tough bounce when you high stick a guy. It's a high stick, right? They got to call it. So
I mean, yeah, that's
tough bounce. Yeah, shoot. But your goalie that year played in Coventry right after. Brian Stewart. That guy was good and big, eh?
Stewie was unbelievable. And the best part about it was because you said good and big, but there wasn't a day off for him. Like as soon as he stepped on that ice, like he was giving everything he had, whether he was hungover or
not. Well, did he knock the net off a lot? Because in Coventry, he knocked the net off every time we were about to score.
That's definitely a true statement. That happened in practice maybe 1,000 times.
God, yeah, it was annoying.
Yeah.
So anyways, year 2, you played 9 playoff games. That's unmemorable, really. Semifinals, probably.
I mean, that was that year where Bietigheim got their shit together again, and they had Wrigley. They had a bunch of they had an unbelievable team. So we won.
I believe they call it a budget.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that's what they called it, and they paid some German folks that have been in the league before, right? That year we were in Germany, they brought in a bunch of kids out of junior, and I'm just trying to say it politely. Some of them weren't ready. Some of them maybe were, but when you get a whole team full of junior kids and then some imports, you ain't good enough.
No, that's the truth. That's the truth. No, but we ended up winning the first round that year against Castle, and then we all knew who was waiting on the second round.
Bietigheim was just gonna do it to you.
Yeah, that was the sweep.
Well, and Germany, there's teams that like when they get budgets and if they want to, they can just be better than everybody.
That's exactly what happened.
We were when we won it that year. Sorry, Munich, but we were way better than you. Okay, moving on. After those 2 years in Landshut, though, you've kind of found a home in Landshut. You've been there 4 or 5 years now. But your gal's in Peiting. How far away is that?
It's about an hour and 15 minutes with a car, so it's not crazy bad, but
it's still enough to be annoying.
Oh, it was definitely annoying. After a big win on Sunday night, you kind of want to
be with the boys. You want to be with the boys, and
you'd be
you'd be hightailing it out of there to see go home.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was the best of both worlds type of thing. Whatever decision you made was good. And my wife was always behind the team. So if I ever was like, yeah, I'll come home Monday morning type of thing, like she had no problem with it. She always understood it. And after the game, by the time I get back here on Sunday, it was really, hey, let's go. Like everybody's tired, everybody's late. So, yeah, it just came down to a part. But the big thing about it was that, in Germany, in Canada, USA, if you're qualified for a job, you're qualified. You know what I mean? Like if you show them that you can do the job, you can do the job. In Germany, you can be qualified for the job, but if you don't have it on paper, you ain't getting the job.
Right.
So that's why I decided to go to school the next 2 years, and that's why I went back into Peiting that year.
To go to school.
Yeah, went back to school. Yeah.
To do, you know what? Speaking of having it on paper, brain just fired. Folks, this is a fun fact for the Canadian listeners. If you want to go fishing in Germany, you have to go take courses and take classes of how to fish before you are allowed to throw a worm in the water. Am I right?
This is very true. I did this course and yeah, I didn't pass.
You did pass?
I didn't. It's
you are not allowed to fish.
I am not allowed to fish in Germany. We'll put it that way. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Grew up doing this my whole entire life. My family owns a fishing camp, but I'm not qualified to do that in Germany.
And like that, there's some rules, right? You got to follow.
Yeah, it's pretty basic rules. I mean,
so you got to have it on paper. So then, what did you take in school?
Carpentry. Yeah. So I had a little background from building houses in the summertime with my family, so I kind of thought it'd be interesting to.
So what's their carpentry school like? Are you like going there and they're teaching it in a class, or are you getting hands on?
Everything. I mean, I have to take like school classes from grade 12 that I didn't have because I never did it because I never went to school in Germany.
Right.
So like.
You never graduated high school?
No, not from Germany, but I did in Canada.
But good for you. I was starting to wonder. I didn't know.
No, but it's just what do they have in Canada? They have like a one class you have to take. It's mandatory. You can't get out of it.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's one type of class that you kind of learn about life. Like yeah, sure. They call it here the Sozialkunde. And so what it does, it really
you've been gone a long time, but
exactly, yeah. I forget which class this is called in Canada, but we had this. I did it. Anyways, but if you don't do that over in Germany, you have to do it. So as a 34-year-old, I was in these classes with like 17-year-olds. Some of them didn't even have their driver's license. Yeah, but I can tell you one thing.
But that's what happens to hockey players. Yeah,
exactly. It was so funny. So, no, I went back in that year, went back to school, learned how to build a table. And that took me 2 years. At the side gig, I was putting in windows and houses in the middle of the winter and then going to practice and then playing. And it was a very tough 2 years. So, yeah, the main point about it was I was pretty much every single day at home. So that's definitely.
But that's why you go home and you're working towards goal. Makes sense. So it didn't get in the way that much though, because you did have year 1 to 4, 61 points, 71 points, 76 points, 72 points. Doing all right.
Yeah, we
call that running amok.
Yeah, we ran amok. We ran amok. And the best part about it is that our team was never classified as being good. Like nobody took us seriously. We got a bad rink. Nobody liked to come into our rink. But
what's wrong with your rink?
Yeah, it's just old school. It's a barn. It's great. I love it. I love it.
Cold.
Yeah.
How many seats?
Seats. Well, I mean,
are there seats?
Well, there we go. I think there's maybe 60 seats.
Okay.
And the rest is just concrete standing area.
Yeah.
So, like I said,
but good glue vine.
But the glue vine's best in the league, apparently. I don't know. I've never done it. But yeah, no, we had a line that year, or those next 4 years. We had Brad Miller. He played his North Dakota Sioux, And he was, out of those 4 years, the 3 years, the best defenseman in the league. And we found a way to play that we didn't really have a position. I would give him a breakaway pass, and then he would give me a breakaway pass. We had no idea.
Kind of rovers, eh?
It was definitely, it was a roving situation. His girlfriend asked him the one night, "Hey, so how was the game tonight?" And he was like, "Yeah, good." "Oh, did you score?" "Yeah, gotta go." "Oh, how'd you score?" "Yeah, deflection." "Yeah, aren't you a defenseman?" "Yeah, a defenseman." "Yeah, Ty was on the blue line. And I went in front of the net and deflected it in."
Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, I played a couple games against the Overleague and like the Pokal and stuff, and yeah,
it's rover.
You could run amok.
Yeah, running amok. It's what you have to do.
But year one back with Peiting, 13 playoff games, you had 20 points. How far is that in the playoffs?
That's once again semifinals, game 5. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Overtime.
Yeah.
This is where I learned if you're a coach of any league in the world and you get a power play in overtime,
gotta score.
Just do what you normally do. Don't invent the wheel. Just let the boys go out there. If you want to take a timeout and give them some rest, give them some rest. But do not try to draw plays in a deciding series game in overtime.
You've been doing the same thing all year. Why change now?
Exactly. So that's a little tip for all you young coaches out there.
There we go, folks. That's from a GM assistant coach right there. Right?
Correct.
So I guess other than like, I don't know, what else do you got for me before I join the real world here? It's very shortly for the day.
I pretty much that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm looking at my emails right now, and there's people actually literally writing me like, "Are you working? Like, where are you?"
Oh my gosh, that's exhausting. That's going to happen to me very soon, so I better stop this. But my last cutting edge question in the shed: if you were going to make a German meal, or you had the skills to make any German meal, what are you going to eat?
That's a no-brainer. That's called a Schweinebraten with Semmelknödel.
You're having a Schweinebraten.
Oh boy, with the nice crispy skin on the outside, with the beer gravy.
Semi-canoodle.
Yeah, that's not the potato canoodle.
No, that's the stuffing canoodle.
Exactly.
It's like dressing, stuffing in a ball with gravy on it. Right?
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Little Blaukraut on the side.
And what else is with it? You're getting kraut.
Yeah, you're getting it's you know what a Schweinebraten is, don't you?
Schweinebraten.
Yeah, the pork. It's the big piece of pork. It's like it's got the skin on the outside.
Schweinebraten's what Hammer made every Wednesday. Dude, it changed my whole career. That's why Bietigheim asked me to leave. It's pork belly.
Exactly. Pork belly with the
crispy skin, and then you got the soft inside. Hammer could just do it to perfection. My word.
Little Weiss beer on the side. Oh,
I'd probably be in the DEL if it wasn't for Hammer making me, I'd probably still be there if it wasn't for those Schweinebratens. But you're right though, with the stuffing ball, I don't know if I'm going with the kraut on the side. I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, it's the blue kraut. It's not the.
It just never really
white.
Did anything for me, right?
Well, I mean, you said you liked the cranberries with your schnitzel,
and like I'd eat the kraut for sport, but it just never really gave me much excitement. That's all.
Well,
those other two things, my word, yeah.
I mean, the best part about the Blaukraut or the blue kraut or whatever you want to call it, the best part about that,
but it's actually the purple kraut. It's the red kraut in Canada.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you eat that, you always eat it like at the end, and then you have that little tiny thing in your head thinking that was healthy. Don't forget about the
pig belly,
the pig belly that you just crushed. Yeah, about a half a kilo. Don't worry about that.
You know what though? I always felt very sturdy on my skates every Friday night after a Wednesday Schweinebraten. I felt, like nobody was going to knock me off the puck. I didn't feel that fast, but felt sturdy.
You didn't need to be fast to be successful.
But anyways, ice hockey god. Thank you for making the time for me. Good luck tonight in your exhibition game and your new journey as a GM and assistant coach. And hopefully you can make, at least you get to stay at the game and be a part of it and be part of the boys, right? And obviously the Peiting hockey team means a lot to you and has given you a lot in your life.
That's very true. It's very true. But now I'm a shed guy, so it's you know,
you're always a shed guy. You were a shed guy in episode 27, Freestyle Friday, right? But
Freestyle Friday, but I didn't really feel totally in the shed. Now I'm in.
No, you weren't, because I didn't even have notes that day. I had nothing written down, and it was somebody had canceled on me, and I threw out some hot flyers, and you were with Abshi, and it just happened, right?
Yeah, Freestyle Friday.
This time the research team got hot, and we got to fully dive deep, right?
That we did. That we did.
And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with
Ty Morris.
Ty
Morris,
Ray and Wally.